Welcome to Obsessed with Success, starring Russel Morgan.
Hello and welcome back to Obsessed with Success with Russel Morgan. Russell is the founder and CEO of Morgan Legal Group, one of New York's premier estate planning firms. He's also a legal entrepreneur, strategist, and mentor, helping attorneys scale with clarity and confidence. My name is Kevin Rosenquist. Today we're going to talk about a resource more valuable than money, time. Specifically, we're discussing how lawyers can reclaim their time, boost productivity, and stop confusing busy with successful. Russell, welcome back.
Kevin, always great to see you.
You're traveling. Where are you at today?
We're traveling in between offices. Today we're in the southern part of the States, but we'll be back north shortly.
Nice. All right. Well, safe travels to you. Hope you're having a good trip so far. Well, let's start with our topic here. Let's start with the big picture. What does time mean to you as a business owner today compared to when you first started your firm?
When you first start any business, if you're doing it right, you're wholly investing all of your time, if not most of your time, all of your energy, everything possible to make sure that it's successful. When you start gaining a bit of traction, you should take a beat just to slow down and make sure that everything is in order. But when you get to a certain point, and that doesn't necessarily mean success, it could just mean experience. Oftentimes your goal, really long term with any business, should be buying back your time. And the larger and the more organized your organization gets, the more time in a perfect world, you as a business owner should be able to free up for yourself. Now, it may not necessarily equate to time at home. It could be doing other things like expansion, growth, PR, marketing, advertising, going into new business ventures, but ultimately stepping away from some portion of operations, maintaining supervision at every level to make sure that on a macro, you're still able to maintain oversight over all of your departments, but keeping it at macro. Because at the end of the day, no good team member or employee can be held accountable without them being accountable. Meaning, if you're micromanaging them all the time, we don't know if you're doing well or otherwise because we're constantly supervising. So the idea in buying back your time is to make sure your team is solid enough to operate without you present. And we see this question all the time. What'll happen to your business if you're not there for a day? What'll happen if you're not there for 2 days? What about a week? And you really kind of have to take a seat and answer that question. Is your business self-sufficient? Have you put the right standards of procedure, the right mechanisms, training, and tools in place that you are really able to step away for at least a couple of days, if not a week, without everything falling apart? Because if not, then we have some restructuring to talk about.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like the way you said that. If you can't walk away without things falling apart, then something's wrong. That's not a good place to be. But I think there's a lot of people, whether it's lawyers or startup founders, or a lot of I know these jobs require a ton of hours, but there's a lot of people who seem to think that if they equate productivity with working crazy long hours. Is that a dangerous mindset in your opinion?
I think in my opinion, it can absolutely be a dangerous mindset. There is this mentality that kind of just says consistency is everything. Well, consistency is part of it, but so is innovation. So is persistence, continuity, growth. Uh, it's the ability to adapt regardless of your circumstance. So there's a bit of danger of working long hours equates to success because it doesn't always translate that way. You
Right.
could be, driving yourself into a hole working 16, 18-hour days, and you're just doing the same thing over and over and hoping for a different outcome. So it's about working smarter. It's about making the best use of our time. We have the same 24 hours in a day, you and I. How you use it versus how I use it may be different. Who does it better? That's subjective. But to keep it simple, Working 16-hour days may be part of your plan for success and how your roadmap to get there lays out, but it can't be the end all because you're not going to be putting that same 18 hours in 20, 30, 40 years from now. The idea is to build something that is self sufficient and self sustaining.
Do you have certain habits, structures that keep you focused? Do you have a pretty set daily routine? Obviously, in the work you do, it's going to pull you in different areas, but as a general rule, do you try to stick to a routine?
I absolutely try to stick to a routine, and it's one of the reasons why I'm able to stay organized. If you break down your day in blocks, and if I didn't have that rigid structure in my day, I don't think I would be able to be as efficient. Some of it really is about time and putting in the work when the work needs to be put in. But otherwise, it's utility. It's making the best use of your time, setting real expectations, setting deadlines, and actually getting them done. And that bit of structure that I've implemented into my schedule really for decades at this point is the reason why I'm able to make time for other projects, expand into other ventures, because you're setting a goal and you're accomplishing it in that block of time.
Is there anything that you used to do or that you used to do that was a total time suck and it just ate up everything that you don't do anymore that you might share that someone else could be thinking about getting rid of as well?
In any business in general, anything that you're able to outsource that is not generating you money by you doing it is something that really you should be getting away from. For the most part, whether you're salary based or you're self-employed, you know what your time is worth. You know that if you continue to work at 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day, however long your usual work day is, you can generate up to X amount of dollars in income overall, let's say gross before expenses. And certain tasks, if you're able to outsource them at a cheaper rate, maintain, of course, quality and service always come first. But if you're able to delegate these tasks and move on to other things that are actually generating you the profit that you're looking for and that you know you're capable of making, you should absolutely be delegating them. I mean, look, if you don't have a secretary, you are the secretary. If you
Mhm.
don't have support staff, you are the support. If you don't have a marketing and advertising team, you are the marketing and advertising team. So you really have to ask yourself, where is the best use of my time? For a lot of people, not everybody's great at everything, and I'm no exception. So I focus on my strengths, and that's something that helps a lot of people. And the weaker parts where you may not be the best is where you really need a solid foundation. You need to have your team in place so that whether you're good at marketing and advertising or you're good at operations but not so great at marketing and advertising, make sure that you have a solid core team in place that can supplement and really keep you well rounded and focused on what you are good at doing.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I've worked for a lot of different companies over my life, not a ton, but a decent amount, and most of them small companies. And so often the owner likes to have their hand in everything instead of delegating that, like say like, okay, I'm not a marketing expert. All right, let's let Kevin handle that. Okay, I'm not an accounting expert. Let's let, this person handle that. And it's almost like it's this mindset shift that people can't wrap their head around. How can lawyers or any professional who might be resistant to delegating stuff, as we talked about earlier, how can they shift and figure out a way to do that without making themselves crazy?
It's really one foot in front of the other. It's the simplest way I can put it. You don't know what you'll be able to delegate until you try, and
Mhm.
it really is, it's your business is your creation, it's your work, it's your blood, sweat, and tears. So it's coming to any business owner and saying, okay, now you can't do this anymore. You have to make this person do it, or you have to ask for help. It's tough because you're so used to being involved in everything.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that is the same reason why people remain stagnant for years and for decades, because they just can't get out of that hamster wheel of I am every role in my company. And
Mhm.
it really does start with the first step. See if you can outsource your uh, secretarial work, your phone calls, your calendaring, simple tasks. There are tons of artificial intelligence software out there that are getting to a level of sophistication where even simple tasks like calendaring and structuring and organizing your emails, not necessarily answering for you, but at least giving you some flexibility and organizing it all for you. It's out there if you know how to use it.
Yeah.
So it's taking these small steps that to us may equate to 5 minutes here, 7 minutes here, but throughout the day, we're talking about hours of time. Now stack that on a week. Now stack it on a month, stack it on a quarter, and just realize how much time you are losing that can otherwise be invested into something meaningful. And that can be growth of your business, or that can be time at home with your family. Either one, it's adding value to your life and your standard of living.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think like it's you're right. It's like that entrepreneurial mindset where people, they're just so used to doing everything themselves that it's almost terrifying for them to trust anyone, no matter who they bring on to like take on that role. Switching gears a little bit, what do you have? You mentioned some, the AI tools and stuff like that. Do you have any specific ones that you kind of have found really is a time saver for you?
For me personally, it has to be the automation. And again, Kevin, you know me, I'm a skeptic with AI. I have no faith at this point that we're at a place where it can be implemented into even a substantial portion of your business. I think we're at a very rudimentary phase.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
yes, of course, you can use it for things like organizing your emails, structuring your calendar, reminders during the day, making sure that your phone calls are answered. Simple tasks that don't necessarily need your input and really can be automated. Something that you can put on a clock or on a schedule, on a daily routine or on a weekly routine, depending on what you put in place. And you'll see the time add up. In the future, I mean, look, the reality is AI is limitless, and it really will likely change the world as a whole or in the next 5 years. Are we there yet? Not even close. Are
Mhm.
we moving there at such a colossal pace that 6 months from now we're probably going to see a whole different structure? So stay tuned, depending, regardless of what your business is, stay tuned because a lot of things are going to be changing for the better as AI gets implemented. But even today, your tasks that otherwise could be outsourced should be outsourced. It's freeing up time for you to add value, to generate more income, to expand your business, really to do what you feel like doing. And that might be nothing, and that's good enough. That's okay. If you're like any business owner that, has come and put in blood, sweat, and tears and 10, 12, 14, 16, 18-hour days, maybe now you're not doing 15-hour days. Maybe now because you're delegating a bit, you're doing 10-hour days, and we're already getting to a better place. And it's one step after the other, one foot in front of the other, and making sure that your system is in place so that this isn't something that has anything that can hurt or interrupt your workflow. Make sure that it's tried and tested before it's implemented. Don't the last thing we want is for anybody to go off and just hope for the best. We want to make sure that service and products remain our top priority, but you're able to buy back some of your time.
That's a great tip too, is test and make sure before you start putting too much faith into something where you have to then rethink it all, because a lot of there's so many tools out there and I've tried a ton of them, and I'll say most of them don't work for me, but when I find those ones that do, it's a game changer.
Absolutely. It's a game changer and it's trial and error. So, like you said, what works for you may not work for the next person. But when you
Right.
find what works for you, stick to it and make sure that it's in place as a staple once you've gone through your trial phase, so that this way you truly can take back some of that value that you've put into your business and reinvest.
What advice would you give to an attorney that says they don't have, because of the time they spend working, that they just don't have time to build systems to try to get their time back, if you will?
Well, look, for some people that works, and that's okay. If you're in a place where you're comfortable and you don't want the assistance, you don't want to buy back your time, that may be okay for you. That's not okay for most people. And no
Yeah.
judgment here, but let's call a spade a spade. The idea of creating your own business and making something that works for you is making something that works for you, where you're not working for your business is working for you. So
Yeah.
if the idea is to create something self-sustaining, that inherently means that it can operate without you. So if you're in a position where you're okay with the fact that you're wearing every hat in your business, then we should take a second look at your business structure, because you may very well be selling yourself short. You may be underserviced. You may be overworked, and you're just in a place where you don't know where to go for help. And that's why we have consultants, and that's why we have webinars and software and platforms that are in place. Just YouTube, YouTube is your best friend,
It's
because
awesome.
for the most part, it's free, right?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of what we're talking about here, as I always preach, it's out there, it's free, it costs you nothing. You just have to know how to find it. And our job is to bring it to the forefront. So if you're really in a position where you're okay with that stagnation, take a second look at your business and you'll see where there may be room for improvement, but it may require a bit of skilled delegation.
As we wrap up here, going back to the title of the show or for this episode, if time really is the new currency, in your opinion, what's the smartest investment a lawyer can make with it?
It has to be long-term freedom. Time is and has always been the only currency that equates to freedom. And today, more than ever, information is moving faster than ever. Education is moving faster than ever. And if the long term plan is for you to buy back your time, you need to make sure you have systems in place that allow for that flexibility and allow for that freedom. So take the time to lay down a solid foundation where you can see what'll take place a year from now. What will you need 2 years from now? What will you need 5 years from now? So that we're constantly putting systems in place that allow you oversight and supervision, but don't require micromanagement. And that means having a solid foundation, a solid core in place, a well trained team, and a well oiled set of operations that your business operates under. Because again, if we have to get back to what happens if I'm gone for a day or a week and everything falls apart, we haven't done long-term investment in time and in freedom. So always, most important, make sure that whatever infrastructure works for you works, so that you're able to buy back your time, ultimately buying back your freedom.
You touched on something we didn't talk about, and that's the micromanaging aspect of some people, that when they think they have to wear all the hats, because if you have a small team and you're micromanaging them, not only are you stressing yourself out, but you're stressing out your team too.
That's true.
Like, I've been on the other end of that, and it's not pleasant. It's really difficult to be an employee in that kind of a system.
And look, nobody wants to create toxic culture or toxic environment. You have to rely on your team. And if you're not confident in your operations, if you're not confident in your team, take an extra couple of weeks and train them and make sure that you get them to a place where you are comfortable. Nobody wants to be micromanaged. If they're good at what they do and they like what they're doing and they're being paid to do it, they should want to do what they're doing. Otherwise, why are we here? And if you're still in a place where maybe one of your team members needs some additional training, take the time, because long term, it's going to cost you more time and money to replace than retrain every single time.
Absolutely. Well, great advice as always, Russell. That's a wrap on today's episode of Obsessed with Success. If you're ready to start taking control of your time, visit morganlegalny.com for more insights and resources from Russell. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We love having you be a part of the community. We got lots more stuff coming your way. Russell, always great to see you. Safe travels. Looking forward to seeing you again.
Likewise, Kevin. Till next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.